Okay, so the things you need is RC remote for your controls. What you need here is an NIMH 3300 RC battery pack for your easy start. Gas in your gas bottle. Now this is nitro methane gas. You do not need to add oil to this gas because it already contains it. And of course your Nitro RC car. Now this Nitro RC car in particular has a easy start motor with that turns over the Traxxas 2.5R racing motor. You got your carburetor and air cleaner over here. You have your gas lines and you got your battery box over here. Make sure all your batteries are charged up and ready to go.
RC battery, and you're going to put it down on your easy start, and then you're going to put the rectangle box down in here, and you're going to tuck the cords in on top of it.
Make sure you have positive with positive and negative with negative.
And then you will close it. And there's your battery.
Make sure it snaps down firmly or it will fall out.
Buttons and dials on the remote. So this is the steering to go left and right. And on here you'll pull back like a trigger and it accelerates. And you will pull forward to go to brake it. Right here's the track selection. I'm not going to get into that because it is not important. And this is the antenna to track.
What you need to do first is make sure all your batteries are charged, and if they're not, your controller will disconnect, and if you don't have the fail-safe set up, it will run away from you. So what I'm going to do now is put gas in the tank, and it's pretty much already full. So now what you want to do now, make sure your controller's on and your car is on and your servos are working good. Take your easy start, and in the back of the battery box you stick the rectangle ends when they meet, and all your connections will go to this easy start motor and turn over the motor. Now on most easy starts it will say glow plug and motor, so like it'll heat up the glow plug and turn over the motor, so you got to make sure both lights are lit and you can fire it up. So first you got to prime it, and it should have fuel and the lines going to the carburetor, and you'll give it a little throttle when you're firing it up, and if it doesn't fire you're going to want to prime it a little more. Make sure you don't flood it though. By the way, it helps to have a fully charged start, and sometimes it's a little cold-blooded when it first starts up. Now what you want to do is you want to warm it up and just make your runs, make circles, and just warm up the engine before you start getting too crazy. Well, otherwise you'll have damage to your motor. So this part is optional, but if you find when you're running your RC car that you don't have enough traction when you're running and you just keep drifting around too much and sliding, this stuff called Paragon FX2 is a tire traction compound for these RC tires. Now what you want to do is you want to take your little brush and slather just a little bit on the tires, and what this will do is it'll change the compound essentially of the rubber and make it more rubbery and grippy and all sorts of nice and traction-y. Sorry if those aren't actual words, but all you want to do is just lather up this tire completely all the way around, and whatever you do, you don't want to touch this on the ground when it's wet, otherwise it will stick to the dirt for sure. So what you want to do after you do that, let it drip and whatever it needs to do. It will take about 20 to 30 minutes to dry, but it will eventually dry and you'll be so now that everything's running and proper. If everything is good in the temperature, you want to make sure your motor is running at a full temp, which ours is. This is our temp gun. It's running at 50 degrees because it was off. It's going to be safe on a day like this, but all there is to do now is have fun. Now, of course, you don't want to tip it over and hurt your parts, but that's pretty self-explanatory. All it needs is some practice. Let's take it to the